Today I went down to the Cohasset Police Station to take a tour with Sergeant Treanor. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm here with...
Sergeant Jeff Treanor from the Cohasset Police Department.
Alright, so Sergeant, tell us a bit about some of the rooms here and some of the stuff you guys do down at the station.
Okay. The room you're in currently is the police lobby. It's people's first thing they see when they walk in the police station. A couple important things that people might not know and might need to know is that this is actually a safe room. And what that is that if for some reason you're being followed at night, or your family member, or you just don't feel safe and you need to come in here, right on the wall here, there's a button that if you push that, that secures the front door. So that way, if you're followed in here, the door will lock behind you, essentially creating a safe room. The other thing we have here is a 911 button. If you push that, it will call the emergency dispatch center in Hingham. The dispatcher will answer, you'll say, I think I'm being followed, I'm having a medical emergency, anything like that, and they'll dispatch us over the police radio to respond to the lobby. The other interesting thing is that there are cameras on both ends of this room, so anything that goes on in this room, including right now, is being recorded. We also have a drug kiosk. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. This is where you dispose of any unwanted medications. Years ago, people used to flush them down the toilet or down the sink. They're frowning on that now because of environmental regulations. So here, we collect them. They go to an incinerator, and the drugs are destroyed. So they're not in our water supply. So that's a little small synopsis of the lobby. Next, I'm going to take you into the supervisor's workstations.
Alright, so where are we now?
This is the workstations for the 4 supervisors that cover all 4 of our shifts. We have a midnight shift, we have a day shift, we have an evening shift, and a relief shift. Each supervisor has his own workstation. We approve reports. We're able to get phone messages, return emails, essentially anything a normal workstation would do. If you follow me in here, I'll show you the Administrative Assistant's office, and this is where she does correspondence with both fire and police chief. She handles all the payrolls, billing, answering the phones, clerical duties. She answers the window. She's sort of a jack of all trades, really a very important part of our department. And she's been with us quite a few years. And it's a very busy office, and she does a great job. If you want to follow me next, we'll go into the conference room.
Alright, we're currently in the conference room. So what are you guys doing here?
This is a conference/roll call room. Each shift will meet here, and we'll discuss any events that have occurred the prior day or the prior shift. We also have roll call videos. We have the ability to go online and do online trainings. And guys eat their lunch, dinner, breakfast here. It's just sort of a combination room, break room, conference room, squad room. Couple of things, if you notice on the rear wall there, we have access to all the schools. The Deer Hill, the Osgood, and the high school are all videoed over to the right. To the left are all the critical areas in the exterior of the police department that are also monitored. So this whole building is monitored both inside and out, all public areas. And we also have the schools. On a personal note, I also collect patches. We have 2 wall boards of patches, one for many departments in the country, and the other one on this wall are the town departments, locally and some not so local.
Wow, quite the collection.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a little personal hobby of mine. Next, we'll go into the report writing room, and I can show you that.
Alright.
Report writing, these are workstations for the officers. They come in off the road. They'll be able to do their narratives, crash reports, write up criminal complaints. They'll view department emails, check their own emails. Legal research, we have law books here. They can go online, look at the laws. We have a camera there for any crime scenes we need to photograph. Anything above basic car crashes, This office right behind me is criminal investigations. I can't get in there, but if we have any crimes that amount to serious bodily injury, breaking and entering, any property crimes, motor vehicle breaks, building breaks, any serious crimes would be handled by the 2 detectives in criminal investigations.
All right.
And as we go down the hall here, this is the kitchen. And for the most part, it's clean. Believe it or not, guys do bring their meals in every day, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or snacks. Stove, microwave, fridge, freezer. A lot of people drop off food too, which is very generous. Especially during the holidays, we'll have stacks of cookies, pies, hams, turkeys. People are very generous around the holidays. Yeah. And as you can see, we eat pretty good.
Yeah. That's nice.
All right, next we're going to go down to the garage.
It's where all the cars are kept.
This is, well, it's used dual purpose. It's storage. As you can see, we have our police motorcycle,
Yeah.
our radar trailer, parking signs, toys for tots. It's usually one bay is for storage. This is also where if we have prisoners come in from the street in a police vehicle, they're brought into the garage and the door is closed, mainly for security purposes so they don't get away.
Yeah.
It is heated. We have the ability to wash our cruisers also and clean them out, along with keeping the motorcycle warm and dry. So next after this, I will take you to the cell block area.
All right.
The cell block area is access controlled on both doors. So if for some reason a prisoner were to break free, they wouldn't be able to unlock the door without the code.
Yeah.
There are 3 adult male cells here, otherwise known as the Iron Bar Hotel.
Still better than a Motel 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can be held here from anywhere from 2 hours to 2 days, depending on the situation, the amount of bail, severity of the crime. You can actually walk right in there and pan around if you want. All these cells are under video surveillance and also audio. They're also set up by the state to prevent any suicide attempts, so you won't see any loose screws or bolts or anything to hang themselves off of.
Yeah.
All the bars are covered with plexi. The toilet is, pretty much, they're not going to be able to drown themselves in it. And they're monitored by our cameras. If we do have a prisoner that's a suicide risk, there's a monitor right down there that has to be hit every 15 minutes for a suicidal prisoner. So they basically are watched one-on-one as long as they're here.
Yeah. All right, nice.
So next to the cell block is the booking area. This is where prisoners are brought and they're processed. They're brought in, all their biographical information is put in the computer. If they're here for crimes such as operating under the influence of alcohol, this is the breathalyzer machine. They're offered a breathalyzer. Once they're processed in here, there's a fingerprint machine right there, a digital print machine where their prints are captured. Those are transmitted to the state police and the FBI via phone line. Also, when they're here, their property's inventoried. They're allowed to make a phone call. If they have any medical issues, we can treat them here or we can send them over to the hospital. Their property is collected and inventoried and stored. Depending on whether they're here, a couple hours or a couple days, we'll notify the bail commissioner. We'll call him. He'll determine whether or not they're going to be released or not. If they're going to be released, they're only temporarily housed there. If they're here for the weekend, then we have to make arrangements for food, water, any medications they might have. And that's pretty much all. We also we have a camera on the wall for booking photos. So we do full ID, prints, photos, biographical info.
All right.
And that's the booking room.
All right. Any other rooms you want to show us?
We'll go down and look at the female cell. This is the female cell that by law female prisoners have to be sight and sound separate from male prisoners. Oftentimes if we do have a female in custody, we have to call in a matron. And a matron essentially is the only one that can search a female correctly
Yeah.
and gets to keep watch over them. Because if you notice, this cell is not on camera for privacy issues.
Yeah.
So a matron will sit almost one-on-one and ensure that if they have any medical issues or they need to make a phone call, they'll escort them. They're also searched by females. It's never a good idea unless it's an absolute urgency that males search females. So that's the female cell. And here's our records room. We keep several years of past incidents, arrests. We have everyone's firearms applications there in town. Archived records are on the shelf. And our department mailboxes are here for department correspondence or personal mail.
Very interesting.
Let's see, what do we got down here? This is an interview / storage room where if we have to give an interview to someone, it's also video and audio recorded. Unfortunately, we're a little at a space premium, so it sort of doubles as a storage area. But someone, if they needed to be interviewed, whether or not they're a suspect in a crime or not, if they're a victim and they want some privacy, they can come in here and talk to an officer. If they are a subject to investigation, we have the ability to sight and sound record them. And as you can see, it's a little cluttered now, but it serves dual purposes right now.
It gets the job done.
Exactly. Chief's office is there. Obviously, he's not here currently, but he does have an office behind there, and he's usually here during admin hours and any other time that he's needed. It's Chief Quigley's office, and let's see, and we're back to the workstations here.
All right,
So
full
that's-
circle.
That's been a little tour of the Cohasset Police Station.
All right.
I'd be happy to show you one of the vehicles if you want to take a look inside those. That's
Yeah, sure.
something, if you're interested, we can do that also.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, we're currently outside in the parking lot looking at one of the police cruisers. Tell us about this.
Well, Jack, this is the marked unit, car 886. It's driven by the supervisors or the officers in charge of the shift. It's a Chevy Tahoe, two-wheel drive. Inside, if you guys can see, it's essentially a rolling office. We'll carry all our gear, all our forms, our citations. We have a tablet there with registry information. We have several radios to be in contact with other departments, both in town and surrounding towns. So I can call the school buses, the DPW, the water department. The police radio, we can cover over 100 different channels for surrounding towns.
Yeah.
In the back prisoner area, it's secure. There's no obvious door handles. Windows are covered with bars to prevent them being kicked out. There is a partition, so the prisoners can't spit at us or throw stuff at us.
Yeah.
Once they're locked in here, they're usually secure until they're brought to the police station. The gear in the back, what might surprise some people is the amount of gear that we do carry. We have oxygen for people that have respiratory issues. We have what's called an AED, which is an external defibrillator. So if someone is having a heart attack, we have the ability to shock their heart back into a normal rhythm. And unfortunately, in this day and age, we do carry Narcan,
Yeah.
which is a counteractive for opiates, specifically heroin. It's carried in that tote there. It's administered nasally through the nose. We also have a full complement of bandages in here, Everything from cut fingers to gaping wounds. We have masks. We have CPR masks. This is something new that just started recently. This is a tourniquet, which became very popular in the Gulf Wars. If you have a leg injury or a major artery injury, you're able to put this over your arm and tourniquet the injury and stop the bleeding. And that's really important for gunshot wounds or stabs. This is a clotting agent that you can put over a gushing wound that will stop it bleeding. Full-size pads if you have a large wound. Sharps container. Unfortunately, the reality nowadays is you do find sharps at the beach. People call in, they find them on their streets. They are legal to possess, so we can't really prevent people from having them. It's just what they do with them, that's the question. But if you do find a sharp on the street, call us. We have the ability to pick them up. Being a seaside community, we have a rescue rope.
Yep.
Or if someone's drowning or they've fallen off the pier, we have the ability to throw it to them and retrieve them. We also have, let's see, entry tools. Okay, if we have to breach a lock or if we have to breach a door. Now, why would we need to breach a door? If in an active shooter situation, if we had a door that we needed to open, and let's say it had been barricaded shut, we would take one of these tools and we'd be able to pry the door open. So if someone was in the high school and we had to get into the door, we could take this and pry the door or pop it.
Yeah.
So those are what's called breaching tools, and they're becoming very commonplace. The other thing we have here is stop sticks. And what these are little triangles that are filled with nails or spikes. And we deploy these on the road. We had a car that failed to stop for us, and we could get ahead of it. We deploy these on the road, and we have the ability to obviously step at a safe distance.
Yeah.
As the car runs over these, it's going to blow out the tires and hopefully stop the pursuit.
Yeah.
After the car goes by, you just hopefully grab this and pull it in and then let the pursuing vehicles go by. So that's a real quick stop stick lesson.
Yeah. Efficient.
If we have to go to a crime scene where we have a significant amount of bodily fluids or biohazards, we have a full Tyvek suit that we're able to put on. We also have gloves, booties for the feet, head masks for our mouths, and that's if we were in a very contaminated spot, like a very violent crime scene, chemicals. Maybe after a heavy fire, there might be a lot of soot, might be a lot of hazardous materials in the air on the ground.
Yeah.
So that's what those are for. And we also have a fire extinguisher, which can be used for everything from the stove fires that we attend or engine fires. This is a level 3 extinguisher, so it puts out chemicals, water, paper fires, electrical fires. So we actually use this a lot because, believe it or not, we're ahead of the fire department when we get there. So we'll use this to put out the whatever small fires we can. So that's the amount of equipment we carry. That's probably surprising to some people because it's quite a bit. But it's all there for a purpose, and every officer is trained on how to use everything in here. Hopefully in your career you never have to use half the stuff, but it's nice to have it here if we do need it. Our first goal is to save lives. And with these tools and the training we have, we've become a true profession. And I'm happy to say that the young officers coming on board are some of the most outstanding people that I've seen in my career.
Yeah.
They're very well trained, very motivated, and all local kids too, which is great. So that's about it for the police Tahoes.
All right. All right. So tell us about some of the duties of the Cohasset Police.
Obviously, we have to enforce the laws and regulations of the state, local bylaws. A lot of stuff that we do involves community policing, which is stuff that doesn't go on in the public eye.
Yeah.
A lot of people come in asking for advice. They call for advice. Their family's in trouble. They're having some sort of crisis. We do a tremendous amount of that. Along with law enforcement, we do traffic enforcement. A tremendous amount of community outreach. We have a Twitter page. We have a Facebook page. We also have 2 child seat technicians. We install child safety seats. We have an elder affairs liaison. We've got a school resource officer, Sergeant Lopes, up at the schools. That's been a great help this year. I'm sure you've probably run into him a few times. So it runs the whole gamut from enforcing laws to education.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about total enforcement. It's about it's education, enforcement, and deterrence. Those are usually the 3 facets that we try to instill in people.
Yeah. How long have you been an officer?
I was hired in 1993.
Yeah.
So I'm just about 22 years complete. I was hired in June of 93. And I got promoted in 2008 to sergeant. And I've been on the day shift now for 4 years. I think about 4 years.
Do you have any crazy stories you want to share, like crazy calls or stuff like that?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on that, I couldn't just pick out one specific incident. I mean, I've seen some very sad, tragic incidents involving kids your age, or young adults, I should say. I've seen some very happy moments where friends of mine have done great things with investigations, with promotions. And in town, I've seen, just some, unfortunately, we're called when people are usually at their worst.
Yep.
So we're dealing with a lot of panic or crisis situations, so you don't see people at their best.
Yeah.
Oftentimes after, they will come and apologize or thank us for how we handle the situation. So nothing specifically sticks out in my mind. But, being here, that long, you see a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
And it really opens your eyes. A lot of these young guys coming on they've seen a lot in their short time here too, and they never realized how much we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you always worked at the Cohasset Police Station?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I got hired, as I say, 1993.
Yep.
And before that I worked security at New England Baptist on Mission Hill in Boston. And before that I was in college at Westfield State. So it was kind of a logical progression where I worked in college at the security department on the campus, and then I worked for 2 summers in Barnstable for the Barnstable Police.
Yeah.
And got hired in the security department, did a couple years there, and then got called up through civil service for this job. So this is where I started, and this is where I'll finish.
Yeah.
It's a good job. All right, well, thank you, Sergeant. You've been a pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
And,
thank you for the
anytime
tour.
you want to come by, it's a public building, and it's open for you and whoever. I'm more than happy to. The kids love it. We bring the kids in here, and their eyes just light up when they see the police cars.
Yeah.
And we give them stickers, and they're just.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of what we're trying to encourage. It's a
Yeah.
public building. We're public officials, and people should feel comfortable coming here. So that's what we're trying to impress.
Yeah.
So thanks again for coming in.
All right.
Thank you.